You missed all our lacrosse talk if you're not a patron. Not crosstalk. Lacrosse talk.
Why would Russian deny Yahoo hack involvement?
Why?
Stay tuned.
Because they... Oh, it was a tease. I get it. Sorry.
Do they have something to hide? Or was it a surprise party gone wrong? Find out on today's DTNS.
A surprise party for me.
That was ridiculous. You know what? I wanted a surprise party for everyone because I'm so happy. But you turned it around. You've made it about you. How do I get rid of this little doohickey thing?
Zoe brings bacon, did lacrosse at school, says it's highly dangerous.
It is. That's where you have to wear those eye guards.
Yeah, and all the pads, knee and elbow pads. Beatmaster says, why would you cross LA anyway? That's right. There should be an LA professional lacrosse team called the LA Cross.
LA CrossFit.
Cross A, be sponsored by CrossFit. Oh, it's gonna be a good one. I can feel it in my bones.
Nice. Oh, by the way, have you read this this stuff on the Jose Fernandez report?
No. What
stuff?
Update me. What's the deal?
Fairly conclusive evidence that nobody else on the boat was drunk, and he definitely was, and he was definitely driving, and a fairly concrete paper trail of him having a fight with his girlfriend, getting wasted, and driving the boat top speed into the jet.
Yeah.
Sad news.
If you feel like somebody shouldn't be driving, don't be afraid to step in and stop them.
Yeah, you know,
Take
it's hard.
keys.
Yeah. Well, on a brighter note, the sun is up. El sol está brillando. All right. I am just about ready to talk Russia, NVIDIA, Amazon Voice Services, McDonald's, the Indian state of Kerala. All of that will be made clear in moments.
All the hot goss.
The hot goss of Keralas.
Hot Gosling? What?
Especially if you're in the state of Kerala.
Meow.
Okay, shall we?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Here we go.
The Daily Tech News Show is brought to you by its global listener base, not outside organizations. To find out how you can contribute, go to dailytechnewsshow.com/support.
This is the Daily Tech News for Thursday, March 16th, 2017. I'm Tom Merritt. With me, Justin Robert Young. Good sunny day to you, Justin.
Indeed, the sun is shining. The March has reached its point of madness, and we are ready to deliver the tech news.
We certainly are. We're going to talk about Twitter's live streaming approach. We're going to talk about the Indian state of Kerala. We're going to talk about McDonald's. We're going to talk about Russia. We're going to do that right this second, actually. Russia has denied, no surprise there, that 2 of its FSB intelligence officers were in any way culpable in that 2014 security breach at Yahoo. Remember that 2 FSB officers were named among the 4 people indicted by the U.S. Department of Justice. So Russia says no. Yet, actually.
It says yet.
Yeah. Netflix chief product officer Neil Hunt said the company is exploring different cuts of its shows for different platforms because certain shots meant for a big screen can be hard to see on a phone.
Pan and Scan is back.
Pan and Scan? Hopefully it's better than Pan and
A
Scan.
little bit better than Pan and Scan, hopefully.
Now here are some more top stories. NVIDIA announced Bosch, B-O-S-C-H, will join ZF, which already is partnered with NVIDIA, as a Tier 1 auto parts supplier to sell NVIDIA's Drive PX2 driver assist platform to automakers. That's NVIDIA's hardware that enables some machine learning, some good AI stuff. NVIDIA will provide that computing hardware, and in the case of Bosch's partnership, Bosch will develop sensors so they can sell a combined platform. NVIDIA also announced a partnership with PACCAR. PACCAR is one of the world's largest transport companies. They do a lot of trucking, and PACCAR is going to use the Drive PX2 platform as well in its autonomous trucks. In fact, they've already demonstrated a concept truck along those lines.
What's amazing is that we are at this point now where you see a lot of the shifting scale for hardware manufacturers like this, that, maybe PCs are not the market that they weren't what once were, and tablets and phones have reached this level of maturity and commoditization, but it's not like we're entering a world where there is not this burgeoning, gigantic need for this kind of processing and hardware. And it's very interesting to see that now, yes, in the next decade, the Napa Auto Parts ad that'll play during the Daytona 500 will include, go ahead and get your mufflers, including your NVIDIA Bosch processors here at Napa Auto Parts. We know
your smart mufflers. I mean, for sure. It may not be quite exactly like that, but the idea is right, that tech companies are becoming part of the auto supply chain.
Absolutely.
And Intel buying Mobileye is part of that. NVIDIA partnering with Bosch and ZF is part of that. And the other side of what you're saying, I think, pertains to the chip industry, where for a while people were looking at the decline of desktops and saying, well, desktops are declining, laptops are stagnating, and phones can't grow forever. What's going to happen to chip companies? Well, what's going to happen to chip companies if they're smart? And I believe Brian Krzanich was one of the guys saying this when he took over at Intel, is we're going to be in everything. We're going to be in sensors, in doorknobs, in cars, and we need to be ready to deliver chips there.
Yeah, don't cry for me, Argentina. We will absolutely be in every possible smart device that you could hope for. Amazon added its Amazon Voice services to its Amazon app for iOS Thursday. Along with shopping, it can do things like playing your flash briefing, controlling smart home devices, and playing music, as well as answering questions. It should be available to all U.S. users by the end of the week.
Yeah, so going right along with that, the other thing that will be in all of your devices eventually is some kind of voice assistant, some kind of voice recognition, so you can talk to those machine intelligences that are living on those NVIDIA chips. And this is one very tiny step along that route. A lot of folks, myself included, have been frustrated that when I want to talk to the name of the assistant that lives inside the Amazon Echo, which we'll go into good lengths not to try to say and set off your Amazon Echoes. I have to go to the Amazon Echo, or I have to type it in on my app on iOS. That's just annoying. So I was very excited about this. I tried it earlier today and it wasn't working, but that's because there's already a mic symbol on the Amazon app that just does kind of a voice search. So apparently an update's coming that will allow it to tap into the wider skills.
You have to wonder, and this is actually going to get into our next conversation as well, that solutions are not always the fastest pathway to progress, right? We can all agree that what makes the Echo an amazing device is this marriage of hardware and software. The software is good enough that it can recognize your voice, but the hardware is the secret sauce that if you are willing to put an always-on microphone into your home, then you can have this level of convenience that heretofore we were unable to find. I don't quite know if having the Amazon Voice on your phone is going to be something that will be used as much or will necessarily experience the same kind of success that the specific Echo device does as well. But it's better to have it there, especially if the shifting sands of all operating systems eventually allow for multiple voice assistants, which, I think that for iOS, it's not exactly on the roadmap for what Apple seems to want to do, but you never know as we go forward.
Yeah, and that's some of the downsides of this are it's not going to replace Siri on your iPhone, right? Apple won't allow that. So having Amazon Voice Service in your Amazon app is only of limited utility. The other thing is, I get where Amazon's coming from. If we're going to put Amazon Voice Services in a bunch of things, we should definitely put it in our own shopping app, right? Why that makes perfect sense. But why is it also not in my Amazon Echo app? I'm still frustrated by that because now I have to go open the Amazon shopping app to talk to the Amazon Echo rather than the actual Echo app where I, by the way, have to go if I want to add any skills or create any things that will show up in the Amazon app. I mean, come on, guys, get it into both.
Sure. And I'm sure that that's probably on the roadmap somewhere, but it does actually lead to this interesting idea. Why wouldn't you be able to have multiple AIs in one phone, in one device?
You should be able to. An open platform would let you do that.
Be really rad. No reason, leave Siri where it is. Let's just, hey, let's have a party here. I want all of them. I want Cortana. Yeah. I want the A word that we're not going to say. I want
Viv.
Siri. I want them all in there, and I want them to have a really good time.
And you can do that in other operating systems. Apple's never going to allow that. But yeah, give me my multiple personality device. That's what I want. Hey, McDonald's began testing its mobile ordering and payment app at 29 restaurants in Monterey and Salinas, California on Wednesday. Orders are sent when the customer arrives. So even it's kind of like what Taco Bell does. You make your order ahead of time, but they confirm it once they know you're actually close to the restaurant. That way you get it hot. And they can be delivered either to the table, to the counter, to the drive-thru, or curbside. You get to choose. Test will expand to 51 restaurants in Spokane, Washington on March 20th, and the hope is to roll this out as a finished app to almost all the U.S. restaurants and a bunch of restaurants in Canada, the UK, France, Germany, Australia, and China by the end of the year. As years of declining restaurant traffic. So they're doing a lot of things to try to reverse that trend.
Well, and that's an interesting statistic because, McDonald's is the big kid on the block when it comes to fast food. So they're going to feel declines, probably sharper than other people that are trailing them in terms of market size. What is your feeling on these apps? Because, I tend to enjoy the idea of having them. I resent not having the option, and yet I don't use them as much as I would because, again, like we were talking about with, having Amazon Voice within an app that you have to click to and hit a button. It's a solution. I'm sure it works, but is it the one that fits my life that I don't have anxiety about because I'm afraid I'm screwing something up on the menu and now my trip is going to be ruined because I accidentally ordered the wrong thing?
Yeah, they're usually, and Starbucks has got one of the better ones out there now, although they ran into some issues with, getting themselves overloaded by taking too many orders. But that's a logistical issue, and McDonald's is doing a lot to work through that. But generally, they just take a few more taps than we would want. I mean, ideally, yeah, you want that voice assistant. You want to be able to say, I want a burger and fries and a Coke, and done. And Domino's is actually leading the way by using the Facebook Messenger bot to kind of get you close to that natural language ability to order things. But in the meantime, are these things that much better than just driving up and talking to someone? I use the Taco Bell one a lot because I'm at my house and I know I'm close enough to the Taco Bell that I can sit down and relax and order, and it is better than waiting until I get there. But in most of the cases, if I think I'm on the way somewhere and I'm using one of these things, it's just easier to go right to the place. So they need to make these ordering apps a lot smoother.
I almost wonder if part of it isn't this next level of personal digital assistant where it recognizes that it's around the time that you eat and you are close to these restaurants that you have a transactional history with. And so now there's some sort of proactive, hey, this is around you. You haven't had this in a while. You always like that. Would you like me to just go ahead and make these, plans for you? Like just give you the option to say no or give me other options as opposed to just something that's like, hey, I'm hungry. Here are all the options that are run through all these apps that have all these APIs, and either it leads you to that app or it takes care of it on some other higher layer. I guess I think like this again is one of those things that these are train tracks being laid that I feel will be used far more as we kind of develop a better digital way to deal with them.
Well, yeah, because you can see all the pieces, right? I've got a mobile device that knows where I am and is navigating me in most instances from one place to another. It knows what's on my route. It has data on what my orders have been, potentially, right? It can get that. And then a voice assistant that can say, with a little machine learning, like, hey, we're close to Taco Bell. Do you want your usual chicken soft taco? I can put in an order for 2 of them right now. And you can say, yeah, do that, and add a bean burrito with sour cream, and done, right? Yeah. Like, that's the dream.
Well, it's a personal assistant, right? It's actually what a personal assistant would do if they were traveling with you all the time, is anticipating your hunger and making sure that you get the thing that is both yummy in your tummy and also time efficient. So that is the dream. I think we are getting close, but yet I don't know if I'm loving it so far with McDonald's foray.
I only ever buy chicken McNuggets from McDonald's anyway, so
I do the McChicken dollar menu, McChicken and McDouble, and a cup of water. For whatever reason, I just keep it's like a $3 order at McDonald's all the time.
See, and you're perfect for this, right? The app should just know that and say front and center, do you want that again? Boom, done.
Boom. Also a side salad. Underrated side salads at McDonald's.
Really? Good to know.
Uber operates in 8 African countries: Egypt, Ghana, Kenya, Morocco, Nigeria, South Africa, Uganda, and Tanzania. And iAfrican.net has a write-up of how it's faring using South Africa and Kenya as examples. In South Africa, Taxify holds a 10% share of the market in front of Zebra Cabs and Josie Bear, while Uber dominates. In Kenya, however, Safaricom launched Little Cab in July with free Wi-Fi and payments through Safaricom's popular M-Pesa service. Little Cab is expanding to Uganda and Nigeria. Tom, this is number one, an Uber story that doesn't involve pillaring them, putting Kalanick in the stockade so we can throw rotten fruit at his face, as fun as that is, but rather the idea that in these African markets, specifically ones where M-Pesa, which is the way that you can you buy things using your cell phone minutes effectively, and the transactions therein, can have an entrenched advantage for a service like this. It's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, I love the story in lots of different ways. One is that it just shows you there's so many these companies competing out there. A lot of us, it's Uber and Lyft, and what's the name of that weird one that's Diddy something in China, right? And the fact is, this is still an open market. And I think the other part of this is you may not realize just how dominant Uber is in other parts of the world where it has moved in and become a worldwide brand. So it's kind of two ends of the scale there. The fact, though, that Kenya, which is on the eastern side of Africa, kind of mid-eastern side of Africa, has a telco that's competing with Uber successfully, it sounds like, because it had the foresight to create a new way of doing banking for people who couldn't get bank accounts. A lot of people in Kenya don't have credit cards, so that's not the kind of thing that's going to work. Uber had to adapt to that, right? Their whole business model was originally based on credit cards. So they had to figure out, like, how are we going to take cash? How are we going to take M-Pesa? They haven't quite figured that part out yet. So they have other mobile payment options. It's a very complex situation there. And I think we look at markets sometimes and say, oh, well, telcos do telco things really well, and then they go and they do this, and if they go too far, they fail. And it all depends on the landscape. The fact that this telco figured out way early something like M-Pesa was necessary, and now has said, hey, you know what? We have an easy way for people to pay, and Uber doesn't. Well, let's get into the ride-hailing business. And they partnered with another company to launch it, though. And it sounds like it's being successful so much that they can expand to the entire other side of the continent over on the west side with Nigeria and not too far away, actually, right below in Tanzania.
What's fascinating to me about this is that you look at all of these markets that have been disrupted with upstart competitors. And the big key is, if you are entrenched, owned the pipe, whatever that is, and here are its payments, right? In the world of telecoms here, it's entertainment companies that are rich enough to buy telecom companies, right? Because they want to also be the one that sell you the service as well as the programming on top of it. That is it seems to be the kind of business story of our age, is figuring out, okay, you can go ahead and do whatever you want on top of it, but let's get to the absolute common denominator and find out who owns that, because we'll always be able to build out. We'll be able to buy companies. We'll be able to bully off competition as long as we have this one pipe.
Yeah, and then down in South Africa, where, again, more than 50% of the populace has a credit card, so it's a little easier for Uber to move in with their existing business model. And you've got Taxify fighting and restarting and lowering payments, lowering fares, but raising payments to drivers and eking out a 10% share. It's just an entirely different landscape there as well. GoPro announced plans to cut 270 jobs. Its third round of layoffs since November. Back in November, it cut 15% of its workforce. CEO Nicholas Woodman said the move will allow the company to achieve profitability in 2017. But no word on 2018 or where this company is going. It does not look good for it, Justin.
No, to not to be ghoulish, but it looks like a 1080p head-mounted footage of a funeral. This is, again, the third round of layoffs since November, which, by the way, for those of you without the aid of a calendar, is only 5 months from now, less than that. It has been something where they are rapidly trying to figure out where they fit. And the problem for GoPro is that as they rail against the dying of the light, I'm sure that they can see in the great beyond the specter of Flipcam looking down at them and saying, "Man, I feel you."
Move towards the light, the embedded light, which was the last new feature I added to the flip phone or the Flipcam. Yeah, I think GoPro has a place, but that place is on too few heads or wrapped around too few backpacks. There are people who want GoPros and they enjoy GoPros, and maybe what they have run into is that the people who want GoPros have GoPros, and as long as those GoPros are working, even if they have to plug them in to sync the footage over, they're fine with that. They don't need to buy a new GoPro every 1 or 2 years just because it has Wi-Fi functionality in it or some other feature.
So GoPro has a tremendous brand. It certainly is thought of as you have a GoPro, that's a good thing. That's a good, solid camera. It would seem that when you follow the trail of stories like this, the next chapter is normally GoPro in talks with blank for possible acquisition. You, during our little news chat that we have at twitch.tv/Justin R. Young every Thursday morning, you had a flaming hot take as a possible acquirer of GoPro.
Yeah, Justin asked me who should acquire GoPro, and I hadn't thought about it until right that second. And so my first thought was, who is a company that really wants to position themselves as a camera company that doesn't already have a bunch of cameras, right? And my head embedded, always on kind of recording technology. So my head immediately went to Snapchat, Snap Inc. They've got cash. Granted, their stock has been doing the wrong thing on the market lately, but what post-IPO tech stock hasn't in the past few years?
Find its floor, and then we're going to see where it goes, and that'll be the tail.
If they could pick it up at the right price, I could see them doing that and saying, hey, here's the new Snap Pro for Snapchatting your GoPro footage. It's the pro version of Spectacles, maybe.
That is fascinating to me, to be able to either create apparel that has the GoPro legacy or GoPros that are the same sturdy piece of equipment that they are now, that you are able to review and automatically share. To me, that's the marriage that really, really, really seems exciting to me.
Yeah. I'm going to guess that if you're Evan Spiegel of Snap, you've thought about it and maybe looking at it. If you're Nicholas Woodman, CEO of GoPro, you're just praying every night, please, yes, Snap or anybody.
You're just hanging out. You're hanging out at bars in Santa Monica or Venice, wherever the Snap headquarters are.
Yeah, you're down at the pier. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh crap. That's so funny. We go to the same restaurant. Yeah, I think if you are Snap, the question is, how much is that brand worth? Because you can probably, it's not, that's the problem with GoPro, is that right now they're in a commodity situation where it's not like these cameras are tremendously expensive anymore. It's not like building a GoPro competitor is exactly cost prohibitive, but it's a good name.
It's a good brand and good talent, right? Maybe there's a little acqui-hire attractiveness here where you can get these folks working on some other stuff from within.
The Indian state of Kerala has declared the internet a basic human right. Finance Minister Thomas Isaac said the state will work with the K-Phone network there. Project called K-Phone plans to lay fiber optic cables, bringing broadband connectivity to all houses and install free Wi-Fi hotspots in public places. Now, Tom, we almost did this as the larger topic, but we wound up deciding that we're going to throw this one out to the DTNS community, right? So
yeah, we've talked about whether the internet should be a human right before. We'll definitely talk about it again, but we want to hear your take this time. So let us know either at patreon.com/DTNS or if you're in our analyst Slack or by email feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. Hey, folks, if you want to get all the tech headlines each day in around 5 minutes, be sure to subscribe to dailytechheadlines.com. It's the faster way to keep on top of all that's going on, and you can access it in the Anchor.fm app as well. Get the Anchor app. Check out all the cool stuff that's going on in there. There's some stuff from you in there, Justin Robert Young.
There is, and there might be more coming from me in the Anchor app. We will see.
All right. The information says its sources say that next week, Twitter will open its live streaming API to media firms and announce partnerships with firms that provide back-end services for live video streaming. The whole point of this is to say, yeah, we know we have Periscope, but we know that if you're a, legitimate broadcaster, use us. We want to give you some better tools. But when we do big things like the Oscars or NFL games, we have to sit down and have long meetings about how to integrate the system. So let's make it easy for anybody who partners with us to just tap into this API and go broadcasting. And I think the hope here, Justin, is that people who it's not worth Twitter's time to spend a lot setting up a partnership will take advantage of this to just broadcast their own content and provide a lot more live video to Twitter.
How long ago did Twitter announce that their future was video? Is that like 2 years ago?
Maybe it's less than 2 years, but maybe close to it. Yeah.
Oh, so on the 2 year side,
or more than a year for sure. You could say years. You could use the plural.
Yeah. So I'm going to say something, and I know it's going to be a pet peeve for you. Shouldn't this be something that was done a little while ago? Right?
Yeah. I don't know why that's been bugging me so much lately. Like, why didn't they do this before? Well, they didn't. They're doing it now. But I know what you're saying.
Sorry.
Is it too late?
The question for me, is this a story of Twitter fulfilling its stated destiny that it's going to be a live video portal? That when you think of live video, you think of the crackling moment of this is going to happen. Like, let's say theoretically, and obviously this is a rights issue, and this is something that gets tied up, but nothing kind of lights up Twitter right now like politics and March Madness. Today, when I say now, I mean literally March 16th, right? If what Twitter ultimately wants, if money was no object and they could just go acquire whatever they wanted, they would want for you to be able to deep dive as far into whatever you are following on Twitter with live video. They would like to be able to have that for you so you could watch it, talk about it, watch all those delicious high CPM ads that would come into your life. That's what they want. It just does not. I'm wondering whether or not this story is them doing that, taking one step closer to being that company, or another one of these. What is Twitter doing? Like, it's just a mismanagement story? Is this a good first step story? What kind of story is this?
I think it should be the this is another step along the road story, right? Because
Yeah.
I know there's at least one of you, and you know who you are out there going, why do I care?
Yes.
And that is Twitter's problem, right? The fact that you are saying, why do I care, is the problem with Twitter, because you should care if you care about following political events, which a lot of people do these days, or basketball, which a lot of people do. You should be thinking, Twitter's doing something exciting where I can find out more than just what did he say today, but keep up on everything as it happens. And instead, we're getting a lot of these stories where they're like building block in place, right?
Yeah.
But nobody feels it. Nobody talks about Twitter that way. And when I go to Twitter, what I see is a big long stream of text. I don't see the video. And maybe this API opening up is a way to turn on the taps so there's enough video that they can make a very impressive page of video. I don't know. But they haven't done that yet. And that's the problem.
You wrote a piece on the Patreon, patreon.com/DTNS, about how Twitter can win at this game. What was your,
Yes.
what do you think the biggest strategic move that they could make would be?
No, I've got five things in there
Five
that I broke down, and you, if you're at the $5 level, you can go read more about that. But essentially, what it is tell people you have video, make it easy for them to see, and include them in it. I know that's only 3, but there's a couple of those are multi-part. But the biggest one that they're failing on is making me realize that they have this video. Even when they had the NFL, you kind of had to know to look for it. Sometimes some people got the banner that said, hey, this is happening right now. But I remember I had to go into Moments to find a debate when they had debate coverage one time. Like, they need to put it front and center on the Twitter homepage, not buried in a tab called Moments. If you're going to have a tab, you better name that tab Live, so that I'm like, that's what's happening now. That's the live, or even live video, right? But show me that you're doing this. Don't hide it away. Back in July, they announced a deal with MLB and NHL that they were going to bring live streaming from both of those sports leagues. We haven't seen a whisper about NHL, and the MLB season's about to start. I have no idea if they're going to be doing any MLB stuff or not.
All right, I got the idea. This totally brings everything that Twitter has wanted to do into focus, and I feel like this is a little bit more where the puck is going as opposed to where it is right now. Right now, the moves that we are seeing, like this move right now, is Twitter standardizing its API. So now any random news company that wants to build a little division that live streams into various different things, including Facebook Live and Twitter, it's easier for them to do it. They just
apply. They tell Twitter, like, hey, this is our bona fides, let us in. Done.
They want to backpack on the idea that, hey, look, the Washington Times or BuzzFeed, or Washington Post rather, I mean the Times too,
sure.
Them, if they want to create a staff that does live stuff and they are not locked down to an exclusivity because they're taking money from somebody like Facebook, then hey, put it here too. We want to be the place where you do stuff. Scrap that. You don't need that. I mean, it's good that it's there, but that's not your push, because that's not what people really want to see. They don't want to see 4 interns putting rubber bands around a watermelon. It's a cool gimmick, but that's not what people are on Twitter for. Here's what they are for. Right now, I pay $30 to $50, I think, dollars a month to Sling, to be my over-the-air cord-cutting television replacement. I spend so much time on Twitter. Twitter is such a driver for what I would like to watch, or a companion piece for what I am already watching and talking with other people. I think I would pay, on top of my Sling, another $20, maybe $15 to Twitter for a skinnier bundle, where now it's not where I watch everything. But let's say earlier in the week, when I was following with bated breath everybody's hot takes on Rachel Maddow's assertion that she had Donald Trump's tax returns, I would love, within my mobile app, following a hashtag that every single television show pushes to show their social media dominance. They already have the discoverability. If I were able to click on a hashtag and instead of just getting a collection of everybody else's opinions, also a mini screen where I could watch along with everybody exactly what was happening, that to me is the future of Twitter, is become a Sling. I mean, and this is what everybody's doing. YouTube wants to become a cord-cutting television place. And these networks, they want to supplement the declining cable industry. They will make these deals. So even if you're Twitter, make the deal just with CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, ESPN if you can, but certainly Fox Sports 1, all these kind of also ran networks. So if someone's talking about, let's say just for Fox Sports 1, they have the Pac-12. If you just have the Pac-12, when someone's talking about USC versus Oregon, boom, you can click it.
And Twitter's already partnered with the Pac-12, by the way.
What was that?
Twitter's partnered with Pac-12 networks. It's carrying 150 events. Now, it's not football and basketball, right? But there's somebody to talk to there to make that sort of thing happen. I don't know. When you start talking about I'd pay, I'm sure you would. A lot of people wouldn't. That's a barrier to entry. Maybe, maybe not. But the gist of what you're saying, that Twitter and Facebook, to be honest, both are in position to say, yeah, we know that Netflix and Hulu and all these places are your lean back places for watching things you want to watch. We're the place, or lean in, I guess. We're the lean back. We're the place where you don't know what you want to watch. You just want to turn something on. Or something's happening out there and you want to see it while it's happening, whether it's the Oscars or a news event or sports. You should start thinking of us as the replacement for that. Maybe there isn't one cable replacement. Maybe there are multiples, ones like Netflix that give you shows, others that give you, different kinds of shows, and ones that give you live events.
I think that there is a tremendous opportunity for Twitter to be a place where I see live video. The problem that I see with them is the content isn't there, and when the content is there, like them making the deal for the NFL, it's pushed to me. They have a big banner on top that says we have the NFL. It's not Twitter is there because it finds the heat, right? It hashtag follows the heat. You want to be able to just go and see that video. And I think that the easiest way for them to do that is not to go and cherry pick. We think that newspapers are doing interesting things, so let's build an API so they can plug in their news.
But that's what this API is. It says anybody can do it. We're not going to cherry pick anymore. Sure. Go ahead and join it. We need more content. It's addressing that problem.
It is addressing it. I just don't know if it's going to bring them the content that ultimately is what people want on Twitter. If they're serious about video, which we assume they are. That's all that ever comes from that.
The only thing I'd add to that is you also have to tell people you have it, right? When there isn't a big event happening, and they're looking at your product, whether it's on mobile or on the desktop or laptop, you need to remind them like, hey, don't forget we also have live video. And the next time something big happens, remember to come back here because this is where you'll see it.
I mean, I also think so. Just to go back to the idea of what I pay to Sling every month. If Twitter did their own thing, I don't know if there's any other company aside from Facebook, but even then, I think Twitter's probably more well equipped for it. That can tell me what are my friends watching, what is popular in my network right now. So I'm turning on the TV. I don't know what to watch. It can tell me they have the data right now to say that this is what's popular globally, this is what's popular in your area, this is what's popular with your friends right now.
There's some intriguing options that makes happen. So get on. I'm sure Twitter was not thinking about any of this until just now. So
of course not. Welcome. Hey, I'll tell you what, you're welcome, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, thanks to everybody who participates in our subreddit. Submit stories and vote on them at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. We got some messages. Charles, co-executive producer of Daily Tech News Show from sunny but unusually cool Hilton Head, South Carolina, said he listened to our show on mesh routers a while back. He has a house in Hilton Head, South Carolina, where he is having problems getting service up to the upper floor, but no service or very limited service, seeming to drop on the lower floor. And after listening to the show, he went out and bought an Eero. He says he loves it. It's got him good connection on both floors. The other thing to mention is how good the software is to configure and manage the routers. I'm able to very easily create a great guest network on the top of the network. That makes it obvious for guests what to connect to. I also can see all the devices on the network, give them nicknames, so what is connected is obvious and not dictated by some obscure name. It was money well spent, and I'm likely to replace my Apple Airport device at home, as it is so good and transparent for management of devices. So there you go. One vote for the mesh networking routers, in this particular case, Eero. Got another email from Kimberly, the Texas teacher, who says, I don't know if Scott appreciated how on the nose he was when he compared smartphones with glasses. My niece is severely dyslexic, like her mom, aunt, and a large number of her maternal cousins. One of her accommodations is an app on her phone, a digital version of all her textbooks that she can download class novels and library books to. She can adjust the font. There are fonts for dyslexics that weight letters differently so they don't walk off, and also so that mirror image letters like D and B are easier to tell apart. She has control over the colors and the contrast between the background and the font, and it also has text-to-speech and audiobook versions available. I have a coworker whose son uses a different app. He could snap a picture of any worksheet because he's severely dysgraphic, which means he can't write very well, and dyslexic. The app is a bit glitchy for reading the scan, so the teacher might read it to him, but he can type in his answers and email the completed workshop to his teachers. We've even used that app for kids with broken fingers, hands, and arms while they were in a cast.
Nice.
Thank you, Kimberly, for all of that. And then Sheila in Pro Free Donut Heorgua writes, it may be true that reports of airplane battery incidents are more reported, but I'd be curious to hear some chemists, physicists, or engineers on the effects of cabin pressurization in batteries. So this is talking about that headphone catching on fire. And Scott had said, like, why do we always hear about these on airplanes? I said, well, battery catching fire in an airplane makes a much better story than, catching fire in a very safe fire, retardant place. All I could find was an FAA document talking about testing fire safety of batteries. And in that, it remarks that at altitude, even under pressurization, fire risk is lower because of that pressurization. But it didn't say whether the fire risk is lower inside the battery, if the battery is less risk of fault. So I'd love to hear from somebody if you know, does cabin pressurization have any effect on the safety of lithium-ion batteries? It's such a low percentage. Don't forget that, folks. It's such a low percentage of lithium-ion batteries that have problems that the cabin pressurization may be, close enough to zero that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm curious to see the official opinion, but I can't imagine that if there was anything that was statistically significant that we would not have heard it. At this point, they are so kind of overly cautious with plane safety as anybody who's been glared at by a flight attendant to turn off your phone while they tell you to, as can attest. But I'm definitely curious to see that.
Yeah.
Tell you what, you hear about it a lot. It's only Miami courtrooms where you hear about batteries lighting on fire more.
Kirill wrote in and had a couple other smoke detector picks for Mr. Dykstra, who had wondered about smoke detectors that would alert his phone. I had recommended the Nest Protect. I realized afterwards when he emailed me back that he was talking about for his barn. Kirill said, what about Roost batteries and smoke detectors at getroost.com? The batteries have a microphone, Wi-Fi module, and an app. You put the battery in your smoke detector, and the battery listens for alarms through the microphone and alerts you on the app if it hears something. Another option is Lowe's First Alert Iris smoke detector. It uses Z-Wave. It could be paired with a smart hub, like with their own Iris or SmartThings devices. So we'll have links to both of those in the show notes if you want to check those out. Thank you, Justin Robert Young. As always, what you got going on?
Well, I'll tell you what, you can go ahead and follow me at twitch.tv/Justin R. Young, where I am streaming every weekday. And of course, it is, I'll tell you what, stickers. We had a new sticker pack coming out tomorrow. We're going to do the email for it, but it will be at the $5 level, just all new stickers, including various memes. We've taken many popular memes, both from within and without our little Diamond Club community, and put them onto some awesome stickers. So go ahead and check out Stickers or DIAF tomorrow. Both the $20 pack, that'll get you a ton, including the free Jury Will Buy You a Drink token that you can redeem whenever you run into me, which I got cleaned out at South by Southwest, BT Dubs. And at the $5 level, you can just get all the new ones. So go ahead and check it out tomorrow. Stickers or DIAF.com.
If you didn't see the note in the Patreon monthly update or the post at TomMerritt.com, there is a DTNS and pretty much everything else I do meetup on this Saturday at 4 p.m. in Los Angeles at Book Soup on Sunset Boulevard. If you just look up Book Soup Sunset Boulevard, you can get the exact address, or go to TomMerritt.com. It is to talk about and sign my novel Pilot X, but I'll be hanging around after that, at least until about 6 o'clock, to just chat with people and say hello. So if you haven't been able to make it to an LA meetup and you're in the LA area, or if it's if you've missed us because we haven't had one in a while, please come out. Again, Saturday, 4 p.m. at Book Soup on Sunset Boulevard. Thanks to everybody who supports the show in any way they can, including Justin Hurd, Tucker Mulcahy, Scott Close, and many more at patreon.com/DTNS. We're glad that you give a little value back for the value you get out of the show. It makes us able to do the show. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. We're live Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern at alphageekradio.com and diamondclub.tv. And our website is dailytechnewsshow.com. Back tomorrow with Shannon Morse and Len Peralta. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Good show. What should we call it?
We have Ghost in the Echo at the top. Old McDonald's got an app. I like that one. Appy Meals. Alexa moves in with Siri. Deus Ex Secret Sauce. Let's see. Give me my multiple personality device. Goodbye, Mr. Chips.
Can ya Uber me home?
Oh, that's a pretty good one. Where do you see? Oh, there it is. Can you Uber me home? iPhone, Snake.
I'm sure there's a way to work Nigeria into the answer somehow.
You're welcome to Twitter. #live, #video. That's pretty funny. Twitter is the titter for better transmitter hitters.
Whoa. Onomatopoeia.
It's all a Twitter. Do you care? A bad day at Twit Rock. You don't get 40 Rock, Twit Rock. Yes, right? The pros must go.
I have to give a tip of the hat to internet access is a bod given right.
Bod given.
Yeah. I don't know. Ghost in the Echo ain't bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But I'm open. What do you guys like?
Yeah, I think I like Ghost in the Echo.
Do you think you like it? Or
Yeah.
No, you like it?
I like it better than Old McDonald's Got an App.
Old McDonald has it.
EIOS. Get it? Because iOS. Deus Ex Secret Sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Oh, you know what? It sounds interesting, but every time I get one, I just like, why did I buy this? And what's the Burger King? They made a blatant ripoff of the Big Mac, the Big King or something like that.
Oh, well, I know McDonald's made a ripoff of the Whopper. Called the Big something.
The Mac Bopper.
No, they call it. I know what you're talking about. Oh yeah, the Burger King version of the Big Mac is called the Big King, and the Big and Tasty is McDonald's.
Yeah,
it-
big and tasty. That's it.
That's the Whopper. Okay.
Yeah.
Royale with cheese.
I just get 2 double cheeseburgers. Whatever. Done. On the same gross patty and the same.
Why don't you
flavor.
just get a quarter pounder then?
Because it's you get slightly more food cheaper.
Oh, okay.
Because
It's a better value,
Yeah, I think.
pound for pound.
Well, it's quarter pound before it's cooked, right? That's how they measure it. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
So whatever it gets condensed down to. Listen, the meat's not that great. It's never been.
No.
I'm talking about it, and it is meat. It's just not the kind of meat you would willingly buy at a butcher's market.
Yeah.
Although you can credit them with being incredibly efficient. Incredibly efficient.
So when McDonald's came to Greenville in, I think, I want to say 1985, something like that. The franchise, the way McDonald's work, they're all franchises, right? So they're all owned by somebody else. And usually it's somebody who owns multiple franchises. So Dave Emberley was the guy who owned the franchises in the Metro East area of St. Louis that our McDonald's was a part of. And as soon as they opened that McDonald's, the rumors started to fly amongst all the beef farmers in the area that Dave Emberley would fly out to your farm in a helicopter and make deals to buy the meat of any lame animals or diseased animals that you couldn't sell otherwise. I have no idea if any of that was true.
Is that what they do? I thought they typically just go straight to whatever packing plant.
Well, see,
US
I
meat.
thought all that stuff was centrally sourced, right? I thought McDonald's just bought all the meat, froze it, and shipped it out to all the
Oh no,
franchises.
they actually they're very regional because the supply chains work better if it's a little.
But
more
is it
for
handled
food.
by the franchisees or handled by McDonald's Corporation? That's what I could.
Yeah, so it depends. But I assume if you're a franchisee, you're kind of obligated to buy. I mean, isn't that part of the franchise agreement?
Yeah, that's what I would think.
And like some restaurants aren't as other franchises aren't as strict, and you can choose your supplier. But you can't go to a McDonald's franchisee and just say, "Hey, I'm going to be serving Slurpees instead of Coke and Pepsi."
Right. There's regionalisms, but yeah, there's standards of regional.
I mean, if they serve
We've got
Dicey's, that's
standards here. God damn it.
What?
We've got
Standards.
standards here.
I will say that I did like the taro pie in Hawaii, and that's one of the few McDonald things I still crave. Few things, not a lot of things
Yeah.
I could crave in McDonald's. I made the mistake of getting a Burger King chicken sandwich because I remember liking those as a kid. Don't like them as much as an adult.
I wonder. I mean, I know McDonald's has been doing a lot to try to say, "Oh, we're improving the ingredients. There's fewer additives and all of
the
that."
same-
They changed the formula of the chicken McNuggets, for instance.
No, the ingredients might be better, but they still use the same lousy cooking methods to package it and process it.
What about fast, healthy food?
Like Rubio Tuesdays.
Yeah, Chipotle's trying to. That's what Chipotle does until they get.
But Chipotle's not healthy. Chipotle is foodie, right? It's like farm to table.
Fair distinction. Yeah, it's the burritos themselves aren't strictly healthy when you're eating that much meat and cheese, but they're ethically.
Maybe you want to go get a Chipotle burrito, right?
See, the thing
Eileen
is,
and I can't eat there anymore.
We
got sick, and probably randomly at the same time that the E. coli outbreak.
Well, so that's the thing. That's
happened.
the only thing I associate with Chipotle now is their food scares. Or not soon,
Yeah,
but the food.
Did
issues.
you actually get sick at a Chipotle though?
Man,
No, I haven't. But that's the same reason why I won't eat Wendy's is because of the whole thing, even though it was proved to be faked. Because it's a thing that sits in your back of your mind, even if you don't think about it openly. It's just like, you just have a natural version.
If it was revealed that Wendy's was culpable in killing all of my family, I would still bargain for a spicy chicken sandwich. Like, there's nothing that could drive me off Wendy's. However, Chipotle, I have never seen a brand fall as
So
fast
hard.
as Chipotle. Chipotle was at a point in the aughts when they were just exploding, was not only the place to be, it was social coup. And when they would come to your town, it was an event, right? Like when they would open a Chipotle, it was something to be excited about. There was a line out the door so you could get a Chipotle. And then as soon as they got hit with that
Cola scare.
the food scare, man, it is, I would say a quarter of the business that they used to do, even during lunch rushes. It is insane how far they've fallen.
You know why? It's because they never had a brand food that stuck in your mind. It was about the chain, but like McDonald's, you think Big Mac, right? It can exist independently of the thought of McDonald's. You can't think of a burrito and it's like, oh, Chipotle. No, you just think of a burrito I could get at 25 different places in town.
Well, that's true here in California, especially in San Francisco, where it's burrito country. I wonder if that is as true in places that don't have a wide selection of good burritos.
But like, think about like Taco Bell. Taco Bell, you think of all their unique, and I put that in.
I think
quotes.
of the Mexi Melt.
Yeah, the unique items they offer.
Even if I don't order it, that's what I think of.
What's the loco? What's the taco?
The Doritos Locos Taco.
Yeah. I love those. I love
the naked chicken taco.
But wait, are you trying to say that if Chipotle had a better brand, they would have survived the food scare better?
They would have something they could anchor.
That you would think of them as instead of
just thinking of Chipotle the chain.
No, I think the problem that uniquely affected them was that they had built so much of their brand on, we care about our food and our food isn't processed and we get our food from these various things. And it became not only a health food or like I'm eating non-processed stuff kind of thing, but it was almost a self-esteem boost that, I care about where my food comes from. I go to Chipotle. And when that is part of your brand, and you screw that up, and now it's like, oh, wait, this thing that I've made a moral decision on is incorrect.
Well,
can hurt me.
And they've selected, they have winnowed their audience, right, to be the most likely to care about the quality of the food.
Yes, and then you fumbled on that. That's, I think, why Chipotle got smacked so hard when on that. By the way, Dark Redeemer says that I'm with Jerry, the Wendy's spicy chicken is the best spicy chicken on the market. Not only is that true, it's inarguable. If anybody has any problem with that, then you need to just write your local congressman, because there's nobody else that will listen to you. Like spicy chicken sandwich at Wendy's, the best.
Get involved, run for office.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, change it, right? I mean, just stop it. It's easily the best, without a doubt.
I don't know. I'm skeptical of your claims.
Who? What else? Name one. Name another one.
It's just like
I've searched the land. I would love. I'm not.
Roger freely admitted earlier that he can't eat out of Wendy's. That he's just got a mental block on it. So
listen. Everyone who has ever claimed so and so burger, so and so sandwich is the best, like a Chick-fil-A. People say like. Despite their political leanings and stuff, I'm still gonna eat there, and I ate there like 5 times. It's like I am so underwhelmed by every item I have selected off the menu that people tell me is the best thing. My wife loves Chick-fil-A, and I said it just tastes like oversalted chicken between 2 warmed, if slightly limp buns.
Deflect is away from the Wendy's controversy to attack Chick-fil-A.
No, but. And I say I'm skeptical. I'm not discounting you. I'm skeptical of your claims. I will find a Wendy's and I will find this so-called spicy chicken sandwich.
Spicy chicken sandwich.
And I will try it.
Here's the reason why. Number one, their breading is especially when it's because listen, you can get a bad spicy chicken sandwich at Wendy's. Like what I'm doing is aggregating on batting average.
Prepare me.
Like it can be prepared poorly. I have had poorly prepared, overcooked, too singed spicy chicken sandwiches. However, when it is good, the breading is flaky enough. It's not soggy, right? And here's the key. A lot of restaurants do a spicy chicken sandwich, but they try to cheat where they give you a regular chicken patty, but then they try to sauce it up. Well, I'm not here for the sauce, dog. I need that stuff in the breading. I need spicy breading that filet is fried in, and that's what Wendy's does, and no one has been able to touch them. Chick-fil-A comes the closest, but they were forced to do a spicy chicken patty. They just had the chicken patty, and then Wendy's changed the game. Everyone else has been playing catch-up ever since Wendy's spicy chicken.
Playing catch-up. All right. I'm just saying, like, I have not been blown away by many of the claims. Like In-N-Out, I think it's a fine burger. I don't think it's the best fast food burger I've ever had.
Yeah, I'm not here because I agree with you. I think that so much of fast food is subjective, and there's far more kind of nostalgia tied to it than I think people want to admit. And like for example, Dunkin' Donuts. I love Dunkin' Donuts. I enjoy it a lot. However, I understand that a large element of my Dunkin' Donuts love comes from the formidable years that I spent next to and as a customer to Dunkin' Donuts. Like that was just a thing that I did a lot, and I have carried brand loyalty with me. The one thing I will say about the spicy chicken sandwich is that amongst its peers, judge it not to your taste, but judge it against its peers. I think that it is the unquestioned champion.
Not since Eileen and I made Roger accompany us to a PF Chang's.
Oh, I was so
have I been more excited.
I was almost gonna get a paper bag and cut out eye holes and just wear it over my head. I was like, why am I here?
By the way, did you know that owner of the possibly soon to be Las Vegas Raiders, Mark Davis, works almost exclusively from the bar of a PF Chang's in Walnut Creek?
Oh, I feel like maybe you've mentioned this to me before because that rings a bell.
It's among one of no laptop. He reads the paper and works like off his phone and makes calls and I mean God knows what else. But he drinks iced tea and gets appetizers at the same PF Chang's in Walnut Creek.
They must have a hallowed seat or location for him.
Man, I've always dreamed of that life
of just rolling in
where you just
place
where you just you have your place and you just go to that place every day.
Wait, you want to be like Norm and Cheers? He just kind of sidles up to that one.
Well, so I have a new neighbor, and the downstairs neighbor said, "Oh, he lives in Marina Del Rey," and I'm like, "What do you mean? This isn't Marina." She's like, "Well, what I mean is he goes to this one place and talks to his friends every day, and he spends his whole day there." And I'm like, "Oh, right." So just like in the movies.
Wait, who is this?
It's a new neighbor of mine.
Oh, new neighbor. Oh, you mean like Larry, who goes down to the Regal Beagle from Three's Company? He's always at the Regal Beagle. And then when they actually do a shot from the Regal Beagle, it's like, that's the dullest bar I've ever seen. But that's San Diego for you.
Where the World Baseball Classic is taking place.
What is it, a classic?
Yeah,
do they wear the old-timey uniforms?
It's happening in Petco now.
Oh, it is? So it moved from Miami because it was in Miami.
Yeah, the current round is at Petco, and then the finals are at Dodger Stadium.
Which, by the way, I had multiple friends that went to some of those games where the Dominican Republic played in Miami.
Yeah.
said it was among the best sporting experiences they've ever had.
Really? Why?
Because Hispanic baseball crowds are excited
Because the fans,
they
yeah.
yell and they drink and they curse and they jump up and down, as opposed to the regal emerald chessboard that let's be fair, the majority white American baseball fan likes to quietly pencil in every foul ball instead of, wanting to do a backflip after somebody bunts to first base.
I kind of felt that way in Seoul. When I was in Seoul and we were like just watching how excited people were to just be there, to just be at the game.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Shout out to Curtis P, which, by the way, Curtis is one of those people, and there are many of you, who when there's something wrong in the feed or on the blog or something like that, you get back to me right away. As we were still publishing, Curtis sent me an email saying, "Oh, you put the headlines link in the show notes by accident," and so I was able to fix it before we're even done streaming the post show. So thank you, Curtis. Thank you all for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow.